Happy Sunday. I have no idea if anybody's going to be on here or not today because I just kind of announced it a few minutes ago. But hi, I'm Chris the Batman Statue Collector, and I am back from spring break. I went down to southern Texas, so we drove about 13 hours all the way back here yesterday. And so I'm just kind of trying to get kind of caught up for the week. And I thought I would say, hey, if you wanted to talk about anything collecting, because I didn't talk about anything collecting really last week. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit sunburned, a little bit red today. But anyway, hope everybody's doing great. And again, this is just your show. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. We do have Rogues Gallery on Wednesday. We're doing our auction show on Wednesday night, so definitely check that out. I'll also be on the COC on Thursday, Worlds Collide with that crew. And so looking forward to that as well. I think maybe Eric and Billy, and I are going to be on that. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be on that, whoever wants to join. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be a fun week of live content. I still haven't moved Batman yet because I've been gone a week. So I probably need to get on that this week sometime. But anyway, again, this is your show. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. How's everybody doing? What's new with you? What new stuff do you have coming in? Is there anything new? Obviously, with Rogues being an auction show this week, we're not going to look at photos. So I'll have a ton of photos for the next show. So yeah, kind of excited about that Emperor that they showed from PCS. Cobra Edit Zero. Hey, Chris, watching from Denver. What's good in Denver? And I have not been to Denver in a number of years. We used to go out there every summer. But we used to go out there with my parents, but my parents don't travel very much right now. And so, yeah, I haven't been out that way in a while. We got Josh from Rock and Roll Rankins in the house. Ups nerds. Happy Sunday fun day. Hope you're doing great, my friend. I was trying to think. I was going to ask you something the other day. Can't remember what it was. Maybe it was your art print. I was just going to say all of your art prints looking really great that you have coming in. Can't wait to see them all displayed. Measy Gaming, RIP the Chiefs. Yeah, I wear this all the time. This is my go-to comfort hoodie. If it's cold, I put it on. It was kind of cold down in Texas, actually. It was kind of crazy going down that way. Kind of breezy, kind of cool, but there's a couple days where it was a little bit warmer in the 80s. Bullseye 8841 says, hey, Chris, how's it going? Hope you're doing great. Again, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Again, this is your show. Whatever you guys want to talk about. If you have questions for me, things you want to know, things you want to talk about in the collecting community. Is this hobby still alive? Is there anybody out there still? I still think very much that there is, but yeah, definitely has slowed down a bit, which is, unfortunate, but still a lot of great things to look forward to in this hobby. And I don't know, let's talk about it. So again, yeah, I just got back from spring break. Did anybody else go anywhere fun? If you are able to travel during this time of year, looking forward to this summer. We're going to be going to Europe, which I'm very excited about. At least that's the plan. So I'm anxious to do a little bit more traveling, and I'll be going to Vegas soon also to watch a little AC/DC with my son. So that'll be a lot of fun. I have about 13 or more coming, and they are just going in my Bat Family and Rogues book. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. Again, Josh has some, if you don't know, he's got some really great prints, but he's also got some, really great original art as well. I do want to put it out there, Josh, if you're ever in the market to sell those 2 Finch pieces, I'm your man. I'll buy them back from you. I don't know if you'll ever sell them, but if you ever get to that point, please think of me first, because I would love to have those. So I love the stuff. And of course, I can't remember the name of the artist, and Josh, maybe you could fill us in, but there was another artist that you've been getting with a lot of the Rogues, and they're just really good. I can't remember his name on Instagram, but if you could let us know, maybe somebody else would want to buy some things from him too. Just really good. Love the jungle base behind you. Very unique for a Batman statue. Yeah, this one's really great. It's a massive piece. I think I'm going to move it over to right here as you enter the Batcave. I think that's going to be the space that I put it in. We'll kind of wait and see, but it's so different than anything else in here. I'm really thinking the more I get more pieces in, more than likely I'll do less movie pieces. I'm really considering selling the Joker. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's time for this thing to go? If I move the movie pieces down, I've talked about this before, I don't have room for him. And so, and people feel like this blocks too much. I just feel like it's a good centerpiece for the room. Like it really draws your eye in. But so anyway, I just don't know if I should sell it at this point or not. Aspen, Cora, Zora, Zor, L. Sorry, easy for me to say. Sorry. Happy Sunday. It's 9:19 in the evening here in Belgium. And I just pre-ordered Tweeterhead Sorceress for my local retailer. My first MOTU statue. She's just too beautiful to pass on. What did you think of the Man at Arms? The variant already sold out from Tweeterhead very, very quickly. But what did you think of Man at Arms? I think the Sorceress is absolutely gorgeous. I think you cannot go wrong with any of those Masters of the Universe pieces. They're just really good. Really, really good. John, do school staff have the same vacation days as student? If so, that's lucky. I only get 15 days per year. So yes, basically we get like when kids are off, for the most part, when kids are off for like Christmas break, teachers get that off also. Sometimes we have to come back early for like in-service and things like that. So like, we've had this whole week, we've had 9 days off. We had in-service for half day on Friday of last week, not last week, but the week before that. And then so we headed down to Texas, and we have been in Port Aransas for that Saturday. Basically we drove all the way to Dallas Friday night in that crazy windstorm of doom. And thanks everybody that watched the video of the store tour from Moore, Oklahoma. That was really cool. And then we drove the rest of the way down to Port Aransas all the way. We kind of skip Dallas. We kind of go around. We go Fort Worth, and then we go down through around Austin and stuff. But yeah, we usually get the same amount of days off. And then, of course, we get the summer off, which is really great. We come back earlier than the students do. And I'm a counselor, so I come back even earlier than the teachers. So my summer is a little bit shorter than the kids, but usually they match up pretty well. Josh, thank you very much. Chris Bradbury is my commission artist. He's amazing. So again, if you're just joining us, Josh has a lot of really great, commissioned art by Chris Bradbury. And he kind of, he has his own style, but I also have seen that he does like he'll say like, this is my interpretation of a Finch piece or my interpretation of a Tim Sale or something like that. Like he'll kind of work around what the client is wanting, I think. And he's done some really great villains for Josh. And I've seen some other ones as well that he's done on Instagram. So if you haven't followed him, he does really great work. I've been really impressed with what Josh has been getting in. Disneyland Fire in Epcot Paris yesterday, Chris. Actually, it was actually, from what I hear, I saw a lot of the footage, very, very dark, thick black smoke. It sounds like it was some trailer-y type thing. There's a lot of like infrastructure, like business buildings behind the pavilions at Epcot in World Showcase. So if you're familiar, it sounds like it wasn't actually the pavilion itself. It was like stuff behind the Paris area. And so I think it was somewhere behind Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, if you're familiar with that area. So no one was hurt as far as I know, but they did get the fire out pretty quickly. Reedy Creek, it used to be called Reedy Creek Fire Department. They used to, they're fantastic. They respond very quickly. I just picked up Sideshow's old Arkham Asylum premium format, underrated piece. Yeah, Sideshow did the Joker and Batman. And so did you get the Batman or the Joker? I'm assuming you got the Batman. But yeah, they were really good. I actually ordered both of them at one point, but then Prime One announced that they were doing theirs, and I was kind of hooked with the third scale, as many of you know. Man at Arms looks great. Also, I really hope that 2025 will be a good year for Tweeterhead without all the drama. Chad deserves a great year, and he really does. And I know that it's definitely been an up and down year. I've had many conversations with Chad, with both of us voicing frustrations with things in the hobby right now. And he's just had a run of bad luck. Obviously some of it he said that he's responsible for. Obviously this bus thing was crap. It was just awful that it happened. And so I'm really hoping too, because I still very much believe in what Tweeterhead's putting out, and I'm excited to see what else they come out, especially the bus stuff. How are you feeling about the direction of school systems? Well, there's many things that are broken that I see on a daily basis. I feel like the services that need the most support usually get the least amount of funding. Special education, Title One. There's a lot that's broken, and I'm hoping. And I know they're shutting down the Department of Education in DC and trying to give the power back to the states. And I think that could be a good thing. I do worry about funding, obviously, in states that are poorer states that have less money, and so I do worry about people falling behind. However, they've said, I don't know if I believe it yet or not, but they've said that the funding will continue for those services, 504s and IEPs and things like that. Again, those students with the most needs tend to get the shaft. So I'm hoping that positive things come of this. I think a lot of things are going to get uglier before they get better. Hopefully, fingers crossed, things will be okay. Theodore, how's it going, my friend? Evening, Bat Fam. Early one here in Australia. Hope you have a great holiday, Chris. Yeah, it was great. I'm really glad we came back yesterday. It was a long day, again, 13-hour drive back. But I'm really glad that I have today to kind of recoup, because a lot of times we do Disney, and the day we get back is the day that I go back to work and I'm exhausted. And so this has been kind of a nice day. We got up and I went and got some breakfast for the family, and we went to lunch with my folks and got my car washed, and just took it easy a little bit. After this, I'm probably going to do a little bit of laundry and stuff like that. So back to the real world. I pre-ordered Man at Arms already. That's awesome. Namick, which one did you get? Did you get the regular or the exclusive one? Would love to hear it. Chris, that Prime 1 third scale Joker seems like one you can't let go. Is it one of your priorities in your collection? Are you talking about which Prime 1 Joker? Are you talking about that one back there? Which one? Let me know which one you're talking about. I have the Arkham Sideshow Batman and Joker. Love it. I forgot that you had that one. That's awesome. They're super tall. I remember Joker's super skinny and super tall. So they do have a really nice presence to them. And again, this is a great time to buy because people are selling things for, really great prices for the most part. Greetings from the north side of Chicago. That's awesome. I'm gonna be heading that way this summer, John, for a couple of days. We're gonna hit up a game before we head up to Europe, so that'll be a lot of fun. Raw statue. We got the man himself, Mr. George Raw, in the house. Hey, Chris. Hope all is good. I am seeing an Easy Rider in the background, which will find his way in my Batcave very soon. Very excited. Yeah, George reached out and he got a hell of a deal on this thing, locally, I think, or at least close by. But anyway, yeah, congratulations, George. I think you're really gonna like this. It has so much presence to it. And man, you've been on a roll lately, man. You've been getting some really great stuff, and congratulations on your Arkham Ivy finally getting that piece. I kick myself over and over again. It's I got the whole collection back to get her in it, and then I ended up, they canceled her, so I sold it again. And I'm not ever gonna go back again. But I'm really glad that you finally got her, because I know that was a struggle. Is Detective Comics 1000 still your favorite statue? I would say probably yes. I'd say Cheese and Detective Comics 1000 still holds a very strong place in my heart. The Bat motorcycle back there, the Bane versus Batman, I still absolutely love. There's just a number of pieces, but I think Tech 1000 is still probably my favorite. The Namek, I pre-ordered regular Man at Arms, have no connection to the variant. Yeah, I had never seen the variant in anything, but again, I watched it as a kid. I had the toys as a kid. That's about the extent of it. I watched the movie, and with Frank Langella, great Skeletor. But I have no connection either to Man at Arms, really. I was never really a fan of the character, but I think that the statue looks great. If you have the Blitzway Joker, get rid of the bust, Chris. One representation of Heath is good enough. And I still have the Queen Studios one where he's seated on the bench. I've actually considered selling this one and the bust. And so I just don't really know. Again, where do you guys weigh in on it? Thank you, John, for weighing in. But yeah, I might keep both the Blitzway and the Queen Studios. Maybe we'll see. But I feel like maybe if I rip the Band-Aid off on the Joker and just, that way I can kind of move forward as I try to figure out the middle part. Because that's still on my agenda. And I'm going to need to do something quicker than later because, I've got Tactical Throne. I've got Batman versus Killer Croc. All these pieces I have no room for. So I'm going to really need to figure out something soon. Greetings from Luxembourg. Eric, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And again, he is an awesome member. If you guys want to become a member, you can hit that join button down below. Really appreciate you guys very, very much. John, I think it was the White Sox. I think, if I remember correctly, my kids really wanted to see a game, and we always thought we would go down a day early or so. My goal is I've always wanted to. So I went to I've only been to Chicago once, like actually in the city. We went to Giordano's, we went to Shed Aquarium, and we did like the architecture water boat tour. And I think that they were in the process maybe, or just starting to film. I think this was 05. I was there. And so, yeah, 05. I think it was 05. And had a great time. But what I really want to do is I really want to do some of the Dark Knight filming locations. And I don't think we'll probably get to do very many, but I would really like to do that. Is it Lower Wacker Drive? I can't remember where like Joker stood in the middle of the street, hit me. I really want to do that. And just go on that street and see that and stand where Ledger stood. So that's my goal. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but hopefully. Curtis, not sure where you live, but you talk about Disney a lot. You a Disney adult because I am. Yeah, Curtis, I'm actually in Kansas, but we go probably 4 times a year, sometimes maybe more. We're going to be hitting up Disneyland Paris this year, which I'm very excited about. That's a bucket list item for sure. But yeah, I'm definitely a Disney adult. I'm a somewhat fan of Disney movies. Like I'll watch the Disney movies here and there, but I'm a fan of Imagineering. I'm a fan of the theming. I'm a fan of the rides. I love just to walk around and see, force perspective and all of that stuff that Disney, the magic that Disney creates. And not just Disney, but also like Universal. I'm very excited about Epic Universe coming up. I can't wait to see that. All the initial reports, like especially Monsters Unchained, has been just incredibly, insanely positive. And so I'm really excited about that. And we're going to hopefully do that maybe this fall, hit up the parks again. Because we're DVC owners. We own DVC points, and DVC, if you don't know, is their timeshare. And so we are definitely locked into Disney. Haunted Mansion and Pirates are my favorite rides. And Guardians. Man, I love that ride. Hi, everyone. Hi, Cylon. Thank you for being here. Got the heart from George. The Prime 1/3 Heath Ledger Joker. I think you've had it since January 2022. That might be. If you're accurate. I have no idea when I get any of these things. Every day is the same to me. But anyway, yeah, I that one might end up going. We'll see. Bust I would sell Prime 1 Joker 2. All right. Well, thank you for the opinion. Again, I feel like if I rip that Band-Aid off, it'll help a little bit. I love the movies, but it's the comic stuff that I relate to the most. The comic art, obviously with my Finch wall and my, Lieber Mayho pieces and my Jim Lee pieces, Ryan Brown and Jock and all the other ones that I've been getting recently. Chris, did you ever watch the Batman and Batman of the Future animated series on Cartoon Network in the early 2000s? I don't think I did. There was a big time span where I didn't really connect to Batman, believe it or not. I was a big Batman 89 fan, and I kind of forgot about Batman. I grew up, I worked, I had other interests. I was really into music, which I still am. I love going to concerts. Which again, I'm going to AC/DC with my son, which I'm really excited about. But I kind of went out of the Batman loop completely. And it wasn't until, what was it, 05 or 06, somewhere in there, my wife gave me the Batman Begins DVD, which I didn't even know there was a Batman movie That's how out of the loop I was. And I watched it, and that's what, I mean, much to her chagrin, I became the Batman statue collector because of that DVD. So yeah, I appreciate that. I'll have to go back and check it out. Is it on Max? Is it on Max? Brad Ladner in the house. What's up, Corn Chip? Thank you very much. I hope you're doing great, my friend. We were just talking about Paris recently, earlier in the show. So man, I'm just so looking forward to that, my friend. So looking forward to that. Although I think Big Thunder Railroad might still be under refurbishment, which is going to kill me. But that's going to kill me. Rock and Roll Rankins, yeah, they are both underrated in my opinion. I'm assuming you're talking Moon Knight about the Arkham pieces. Can attest to, as someone who lives close to Chicago, can't help but think of the scene every time I drive through Lower Wacker Drive. Yeah, that's just like a giant bucket list item for me to be able to do that. And again, we're gonna head that way before we head to Europe, and just spin it because I think we're flying Chicago to Paris. I think that's the plan, if I remember right. My wife booked that, so I think that's what the plan is. But anyway, yeah, I can't wait to hopefully at least see some of those places in real life. I've said it a couple times and you're probably tired of hearing it, but I'll say it again. You're struggling that much with finding the right places for your lower shelves. It's one of those things where I am, we talked on one of the recent shows, of maybe enclosing this, or at least maybe like one panel in front and getting some garage shelves in front just to see kind of what that looks like. Because I could do a tiered effect. I could have stuff underneath if I wanted to, very similar to what Dan has in his collection, but then still have a tiered look to fit and kind of in front of some of these statues. I'm going to try that. I'm going to go out and get one garage shelf. Maybe I'll do that today, just to see what it looks like and kind of go from there. And then leave the middle more open. We'll see. But I just need to put stuff down there. I do have a few things down. I've got a couple statues down below. Sorry, focus. So we'll see. I'm in no hurry. Like, it is what it is. If it works down there, it's going to work down there. And I know what the Arkhams would look so great down there. Imagine the comic pieces up in the upper row of the Arkhams. And that's what I did. When I first moved in here, if you go back and watch the old footage, I had this stuff up top and I had all the Arkhams down below, at least most of them. I had Killer Croc up top and Mr. Freeze, obviously. But I had the Arkham ones down below, and they really do work well down there. But I sold them all because I needed the money for my Finch art. And it's just, you have to trade. Sometimes you have to trade something you love for something else you love, So it is what it is. So you're a fan of British rock. I love rock music. I'm a big, like the thing I listen to most is like Sirius XM radio, like Hair Nation, Poison and Rat and Def Leppard and, AC/DC and Aerosmith. Those are my bands. Queen. Queen is probably my second favorite band. AC/DC is my number one. Queen's number two. Nah, Queen might be number three. I put Kiss probably at number two. But I love British rock. There's at Epcot, we go to Epcot a lot. And in the UK pavilion, they have a lot of, they have a band that plays British rock. And I love it. I absolutely love, they'll do like Rebel Yell, and they'll do the Beatles, and they'll do Def Leppard. Like, they'll do all these great bands. And I love rock music. Not so much like the super heavy metal stuff. I'm not into that as much. Like, there for a while when I was younger, I liked Metallica and Seether and some of those bands. But nowadays I pretty much just like kind of like that 80s hair metal sound. But I definitely like classic rock. I like, old school Beatles and Led Zeppelin and all that stuff. Yeah, I got you. I knew what you meant. I don't think there'll be another Ledger bust and matching statue. With the impact the Ledger Joker has made, I would not sell them. Again, it's just one of those things where I feel like I feel like I need to rip that Band-Aid off, because I do think the whole middle of the collection will end up being comic book based pieces. So we'll see. Rebby has some really nice looking shelves. Say, I've never heard of that brand. I'll have to look into that. Thank you, Jovius. Josh says, I think garage shelves would cheapen the look of your room. Build a U-style center for more larger 1/4. And that was kind of my original thinking. again, like, I don't know what that'd take to build that. Like, I don't know if that's something that I could try to build on my own, or if I would need to like hire that out. And again, that's just a tremendous amount of money again, to put in the middle of the room. And a lot of collectors, Josh, have said, don't do it. Like, don't put anything in the middle. And so, sorry, my focus is not sure if it's focusing on the statue. Sorry if I'm out of focus, guys. But anyway, like, they've said that they just leave the room empty in the middle. It's too cluttered. And then that way you could put a couch and whatever. And I might do that. Like I said, with the garage shelf, I think I want to go get one just to see what it looks like, just to see. And, and you might be 100% right that it might cheapen it. And so I definitely want to kind of look and see. I feel like if I buy one, it's not going to be that big a deal. I could use it for storage or something else. And like some people have said, if I enclose these, I could put boxes under there or storage or whatever. So we'll see. I still just don't know. Best use for down below is the storage space. And sorry, I guess I just talked about that. Your love is like bad medicine. I've seen just about every 80s band, but I never saw Bon Jovi. I never saw them. 80s thrash. Oh, you like 80s thrash metal? Like, you're talking about like the Ramones, like that sort of thing, like the punk type. Who are you talking about? Like, I like the Ramones. Do you ever see yourself selling the Finch wall? To be honest, I think that I would probably sell every statue before I sold those pieces. Now, if again, everything in this room, if I needed the money, if we had a family emergency or whatever, had to pay for food or whatever it is, like, everything would go. It's all just stuff. I love it. I love the stuff, but it's all just stuff. But there's definitely a priority of what I would sell first. And the Finch stuff, to me, it's just been such a passion project. And it's just like I look forward to every single one. I've got 5 or 6 more pieces in the queue to do. And I dread being done because I love getting stuff from him. I love it. And again, I just want to get as many pieces as I can. Red Gold Tiger says hi. Hello to you. Oh, Extreme Channel is in the house. Send me a link. Okay. Let me see how. Let me hold on. Let me do something here. Talk amongst yourselves. Do. All right. Do you ever follow any of the other heavy collectors like you outside of the Rogues crew? Jim redid his room in empty space under his shelves, and he uses art box under each piece and clean. Yeah, I of course follow everybody. I very much appreciate being able to see other people's collections and hearing their experiences. And I watch just as many reviews as you guys probably do, just because I very much love it. It's what motivates me to continue to want to better my collection, because there's great channels out there. There's great collectors. There's just everybody out there that loves this hobby. I appreciate very, very much. And so I get inspiration from a lot of those other collectors. Jim's collection is amazing. I love, I was going to do my floor like him, something similar. And I know he had the echo problem, or at least initially. And so I shied away from that. I'm like, I just don't want to deal with that. But Jim's great. all these amazing collectors, and there's been so many more that have come onto YouTube lately, that do the shows and do the great content, and it's really just spreading the love for the things that we love to talk about. I think sometimes it can maybe be a bit too much. Because I think sometimes it's white noise. We're all kind of talking about the same thing, but it's all good. It's all good. Mr. X, how's it going?
What's up? So I gotta let you know in transparency, I said shoot me a link, and my youngest son just walked down and he's like, hey, do you want to get in the pool? So I can only give you 15 minutes, because you know this, when your teenage children want to hang out with you, you don't want to lose that.
I was going to say, one of the reasons I went on today, I was like thinking I might go on tonight, but my wife texts me, is like, I'm taking Ledger bowling. I'm like, okay, well, then that's a perfect time for me to go stream real quick, because again, if he wants to go bowling, you take him bowling.
Yep. Yeah. So,
that's right.
Like he literally, after the second you send me the link, he walks downstairs and he's like, hey, you want to go do this? So,
well, even if it's 5, man? I was going to say, even if it's 5 minutes, it's all good. It's all good. I'm doing okay. So last time I saw you was, of course, way back in New York, which was great. Tell me about your experience there. Did you have a great time?
It's not like it used to be. So, I mean, I had a great time in New York. I didn't have a great time at I didn't have a bad time at New York Comic Con, but I mean, it's like, okay, there's Pure Arts and PCS, and
that's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. And so it's not what it used to be. Sadly, the people were great. The other collectors in the community, New York, I would never live in New York, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I've been there, a dozen times, but yeah, it's so we probably won't go this year unless it's a last minute thing. But yeah, it's just like we didn't even use our Saturday passes. I should have given away to somebody, because we didn't want to go to the con.
Yeah, it's just so packed. Like, you couldn't even move. It was like that MegaCon Saturday. Like, we just got back to MegaCon about a month or so ago now at this point. But it was just like, shoulder to shoulder. You can't move. It's not fun when you can't go anywhere. And so like for me, like I've really gotten into the art side of things, the original art, and talking to the artists and things like that. Did you ever get into that side of things at all? Like, are you interested in the comic art at all?
So mostly covers, I probably own about 200 slabs, and I would say 75% of the ones I own are ones I've never read. I just bought because of the front art.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to that point, that's about it. But I really haven't gotten into the actual art like you're doing, with all that, because I have no room on my walls. It's all the autographed music and movie stuff.
And I would imagine, like, the original art I've found, I've spent a small fortune on, and I bet you probably have done that with the autographs at times, because I know some of that's really expensive and difficult to find sometimes.
So, what's interesting? This is how bad I am. I should have bought something Gene Hackman. I do have Gene Hackman's signature. I actually have it on a replica from the original Superman movie of the kryptonite necklace that he put on Superman.
Oh, that's awesome.
I try and think, like, who's gonna die soon, and and I get some. And it actually came from years ago, about 10 years ago. I was about to buy, or I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but I was about to buy a Tom Petty guitar for my father.
Love Tom Petty. Yeah.
And he died that night. And the guitar I had my eye on, quadrupled in price the second he died. So, yeah, you got to be really strategic and buy the signatures before they die, which is sad. And
yeah, I was just going to say, you mentioned Tom Petty like that. That was probably my favorite concert I've ever been to, because we had row 2 center. And me and my friend, we literally air guitared every song and sang, and he just spent the entire time watching us laughing, which was really funny, because like it's just we're just like, there's air guitar in it, but that was a great show. So I mean, obviously a lot of people are talking about like celebrities like like Nicholson, when he finally goes, like maybe they'll do statues of him and things like that. Like I feel like he would be one that would be very valuable at some point.
So I bought him about 2 years ago. I got an autographed Joker, picture of him with the Joker about 2 years ago, because I thought he was getting up there in age. And I don't even remember. I mean, I have it on my, inventory spreadsheet, how much I paid. It was pricey, not like outrageous pricey. I think, and this is just me ballparking, like $800 to $1,500.
Okay, that's not awful.
But yeah, the second he dies, it's $3,000 to $5,000 minimum.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be insane. So we were just talking, I don't know if you saw, we were talking about the shelving. So like, this is something I don't know if you watched me go on and on about, like talking about the lower shelves. Do you have any trouble with putting stuff on the lower shelves? I feel like you've always done a really nice job with your display. I mean, clearly you have, a lot of options, a lot of display, you have like movie areas and comic areas and, all kinds of multimedia, and it all looks so great in your display. Have you ever like had qualms with like the bottom shelfers, as I call them?
Absolutely. Like I think that you move to a bottom shelf when the addictions got you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm moving to a bottom shelf knowing I'm sacrificing the displayability and view angles of this statue. In a perfect world, it's like what you have behind you. You know what I mean? Like that's a perfect world. But to your point, you want more, and right. So I think you do sacrifice a little bit, but we're addicts, I mean,
yeah. I've got, not very many movie pieces. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like maybe like a half dozen of movie pieces, including the Joker bust in the middle. And I've, toyed with like putting just them on the bottom and then really focusing more on comic book stuff, which is really my passion. And like a lot of people say, you should just clear out the middle. It looks too jumbled. Just put a couch, just enjoy your time down here, which I could, but like if I'm in this room, I'm in this chair working like on my, editing and I'm gonna say you're the same. And so like, I don't know if I really need the couch. Like, I don't know if I would use it or not. I'd rather, and I feel like for YouTube, especially, you kind of want stuff behind you for people to like look at, which again, everybody's admiring your alien stuff behind you. It's like, yeah, it looks awesome. And it'd be real. I feel like it'd be boring if it was just a couch that people were looking at.
Yeah. You got to have that background. And so my basement's very functional though, or my area, there's a bar, there's a game room, there's a theater room. Like right now we have March Madness on 2 TVs as it's going. Hopefully you can't hear it, so it doesn't hurt your, copyright. But
yeah, no, we don't hear it.
Okay, good. But yeah, so I mean, but we don't honestly use it that much for functionality. Like to your point, usually I'm down here doing this stuff. That's why I was editing shorts. I was editing shorts that are going to launch in July. Like that's how far ahead I am because I'll go and I'll have, like 2 weeks, where I'm able to do stuff and then I won't be able to do anything for a month.
Yeah.
So I was working on stuff for July, but which is crazy to me. I think I just posted a video that's going to launch on July 12th.
Yeah, I did a short today and I think I filmed it like 9 months ago. I was like looking, I was like, you forget all this stuff you film. It's like in the can, it's unpublished and they're like, okay, what should I publish today? Okay, I'll publish that. So it is funny.
Well, and a lot of it's time bound. So like I filmed a video yesterday on the 10 things I hate about my Cybertruck now that I've had it for a year.
Yeah.
And I was so and it's not set to launch till May 20th or something because I got plenty of other content.
Sure.
And I was like, man, this is relevant. This would go hot if I launched it now.
Yeah.
But I can't do it because I have you know how it is. It's like, okay, yeah. I told these people I'd launch this video on this date and yeah, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna give up views, but yeah, it's like it's entitled "I Hate the Cybertruck." It's like that would go so fire right now.
I was gonna say you would, yeah. They just, I think it was in Kansas City. They set 2 of them on fire somewhere in one of the dealerships there.
I saw that. Yeah, they burned down some Chargers here in where I live, and then somebody took the lug nuts off mine while we were at a basketball game.
You're kidding?
No.
What'd you do?
Well, I mean, I drove home and almost died.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I'm more cognizant of it because like I get alerts when people walk near it. And I was at a basketball game, so you get lots of alerts, and it was in a parking garage. So usually I don't look, but now I look all the time. I mean, it's just
I bet
you can see people, and yeah, it's just the amount of hate is just irrational, and I can't wait. FAFO.
Yeah.
So. We'll find out.
We were down in Port Aransas, Texas. That's where we went to the beach for spring break, and it was really cool. Their fire truck down there, they have a cyber truck that's been wrapped with like their local fire graphics and stuff. And I had not seen that. I've seen a lot of like plain wraps and stuff, black and blue, but I had never seen like a full wrap on a cyber truck. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty neat.
But yeah, so it's but yeah, you know what it's like. You're trying to plan ahead, and anyway, back to filming and planning ahead and trying to find out what's relevant. And I don't know.
And you know, obviously the great thing is to have stuff in the can, but also film stuff right away to try to be current, obviously, you know, with whatever's going on. It's not always easy.
Like that PCS Turtles thing, I obviously escalated and launched it right away, you know, because I knew it'd get hits and it was a hot topic at the moment. But yeah, sometimes you're more into it than I am on the YouTube thing, you know? I mean, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah. I was going to say, so it just really depends on how much time I have. And I'm sure you're the same way. It's like, if you could fit it in, you do it. If not, somebody else will, usually.
Absolutely.
Where do you know, we haven't really talked about statue. Like, where do you feel like we are in the hobby right now? Like, do you feel like it's in a giant dip, or do you feel like there's hope, there's optimism?
I don't know. I've withdrawn from most of social media other than a few other YouTube channels that I watch and obviously my YouTube channel, because there's so much negativity. And it's annoying. And part of it's justified, I think. Part of it's very justified with rising prices, tough economic times, you know, subpar production on some things. I think part of it's justified, but I'm not as positive as you are in life. And, you know, people ask me about you, and you and I know each other personally pretty well. And I'm like, that's who he is, man. He's just that positive. And I've met probably in my life about a dozen people like you who are like overly positive. And when you first meet those people, you think it's bullshit. You think it's a facade. And for you, it's not. And it's you're one of those rarities. And I'm not like that, but I still try and stay away from it because I don't let it bother me. You know, some people, the statue collecting is a bigger part of their life. I know it seems like it's a big part of my life because I put out daily videos and I have all this crap behind me, but it's really not.
It's your hobby.
But I don't think it's in a great place where it's at. You know, it's kind of moving towards the ultra elite when a quarter scale is $2,000, and I think that's really sad because it pushes out a lot of people that are very valuable to the community, unfortunately. But yeah, I think so I've been doing it for 10 years. I would say this is the worst it's been, but it's not horrible. I want to emphasize that it's not horrible. It's just not what it used to be.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with the ultra elite thing. I think that's really, and I've heard it. I've heard it from companies like that's it. But you see it like too. You see it at Disney and you see other places like they're targeting the people that are going to pay the money, and you know, so that's just the world we live in at this point, which is sad, but it is what it is, I guess.
So we're big cruisers. I think you know that. You know, we go on a bunch of cruises each year. That's our preferred mode of travel. And what's interesting is all the new cruise boats are allocating a huge part of the boat to suite area access only. So they're creating, you know, all these areas where if you're in a suite, you have access to it. And it's taking up a huge portion of the ship. And I think it points to the same thing, like you said, you know, not just they're going for that ultra elite. And it makes sense from a business standpoint, because if you think about it, if you're manufacturing statues or, you know, cruise ships or whatever, but statues, do you want to sell, you know, 5,000 statues for $600 each? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to sell 500 statues for $2,500 each?
Yep.
The latter is clearly the incentive. You have less issues that can happen. You have to satisfy less customers. And it's sad, but it's just the way of life.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's, again, it's business, you know, it is what it is, you know, and it sucks, but I don't know. I just feel like that's definitely where this collectibles market is. But I mean, it's still cool though, because like doing shows like this, and like I'm constantly still seeing like, hey, I'm new to the hobby. Can you give me advice on this? Can you give me advice on that? I'm sure you get it too. And so I love to see that, because that means despite all of the negativity, despite all the prices, people are still interested. They're still like, hey, I still want to, like, you know, they might not have 40 statues in their collection, but if they can get just that one, that makes, that's still something, and I think that's awesome.
Well, I think, to tail onto that, and I got to go pretty soon here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But as a statue content creator, the biggest challenge is that there are, 7 billion people in this world, and maybe, 2 billion of them are on social media, or I don't know the number, but we have this small niche of like 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And we want to expose the other, 6.9 billion or however many. And you see it at Comic-Cons. Like, this, you've seen this a million times. People walk up to a statue and they're in awe at a PCS booth or the old Sideshow booths or whatever. Yep. They're like, that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I bet it costs $1,000. And then they look down, they're like, yep, costs, 1,000 or more. But those people have no idea this world exists.
Right.
And the whole goal is, not only to continue to collaborate and market towards the community that supported content creators for a long time and have supported the community, but also expose to the people outside of that. And that's what's really hard. And I know that you're trying, almost every content creator is trying to do it with shorts because that's the new thing,
Yep,
I mean, whether it's TikTok or YouTube or whatever. But it's like, let's get them have a glimpse of, oh my God, you can actually buy an alien statue or a Batman statue that looks amazing. And then they actually get interested in it, which, to your point, we see a few of them now and then, not many, but we see a few of them start coming in.
That's why I'm always amazed, like the companies don't want to do the cons anymore. It's like, to me, yes, it's expensive for them, but it's still eyes on product. It's new eyes on product. And it's just, I just don't get it. But again, if they're to the point now where they're like, well, screw those people, we're only going to target the only people that's left, that are buying this expensive stuff, which I get, but I still feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities there.
I disagree with you actually on that. Like from a business standpoint, God, the amount of money, those booths alone, like let's think of the booth Ant had at last NYCC, had to be, I mean, I'm just guessing from other trade shows I go to that are much smaller than Comic-Con. I mean, they're still big, but much smaller than Comic-Con. You pay $20,000 for a booth that size. So I assume at Comic-Con it's 50 to 100,000.
Especially that location because it was right by the door.
Right when you go up. Yeah. And then you think about shipping all the statues, you think about staffing it, and that's profit. And I don't think, most businesses make, between 10 and 20% profit if you like an average across the board. So and I would say statue companies are on the lower part of that because they're a product resale. So if he has to pay $150,000, $200,000 for a booth, is he going to get 2 million new sales out of that?
No way. I
don't think so. Yeah, because most of the people, to the point I talked about, they walk up and they want it, but there's no way they're going to fathom spending, $1,000, $2,000, just like we all were years and years ago when we're like, oh, can I really spend $100 on a figure?
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand why they're doing it, especially with the fact that you can broadcast it via internet now. Like Prime One Studio, their showcases, as you know, are
brilliant.
Absolutely. I think that's a great word for it.
Yeah, I think, and I really appreciate the business aspect that you provided there, because again, that's not something we always think about. Like we understand that there's expenses, but it is interesting to hear that take too. And I'm glad you disagreed, because it really does spark that conversation of, okay, what can they do then? And like you said, the online platforms, the streams, the live streams, whether we've not always liked maybe Sideshow Con or whatever, it does still provide the same type of thing to probably more people, quite frankly.
Well, and not only that, but their regular buyers are going to see it via that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I think COVID did that for them. It moved it towards that. But yeah, they're just, it's not, to me, it's not an investment. I won't be surprised if they pull out of future cons altogether. I mean,
yeah,
I do got to get going, but I want to answer one question. Somebody asked me specifically, John 678. Yes. So I use collector's insurance.
Oh, not this one right here. This one.
Yeah. I use collector's insurance. Unfortunately, I pay like $400 a quarter. I've used them for 3 or 4 years. I can't tell you how good they are because I've never filed a claim, so is that good or bad? knowing I've probably spent $6-7 grand on insurance for all of this is it's mainly catastrophic because my homeowners would probably cover a portion of it, but not all of it. So
it's peace of mind.
Until they get the quarterly bill of $400,
yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I use it. But hey, Chris, I gotta get going because again, my son, I don't want to put him behind. So thank you so much for letting me jump on. Thank you to the chat, and I'll see you around, man.
Yeah, this was such a great surprise. I hope you have a great day. See you soon.
Take care, man.
All right, bye-bye. Well, how great was that? That was so fun. This is what I love about this show is it's just so random. So that was, I had no idea that was going to happen. Man, Mr. X, again, getting to know some of these collectors, whether they're YouTubers or other people, like, Brad in the chat or, JWR, like being able to actually hang out with these people in real life, and see what they're really like. And, they're passionate collectors, and it's just really fun. So I really appreciate, Mr. X coming on. That was great. Let's do a few more questions before we wrap it up today. What's up, Mr. X? Chris and Mr. X, I'm surprised Prime One still hasn't put out their Hush Catwoman for sale. I said it during the last showcase that I was really kind of shocked that they didn't do a Hush Catwoman because there's a lot of buzz around Hush 2. Jim Lee's putting out a ton of covers now, like Bermejo and everybody else. They're all doing covers for Hush. And so like there's a buzz right now, and Hush is one of the most popular storylines that DC's ever done. And so I just feel like Prime One would want to capitalize. Now that's not to say that tomorrow they might not show her, but I do really feel like this would have been a great opportunity for them to freaking capitalize again. Eyes on product, we were just talking, sometimes I feel like there's missed opportunities. I feel like there's oftentimes more missed opportunities than not. And so that could be really frustrating for us collectors, but it is what it is. Crippler in the house, COC. I mentioned them earlier. I will be on that show. I think maybe me and Billy, Eric, I'm not sure who's all going to be on it, but we're going to be on with the COC crew on Thursday night. Again, Wednesday night, guys, if you are just joining us, Wednesday night, we got the live auction show for Rogues Gallery Live, and then I'll be on the COC with the Rogues Gallery Live. It's Worlds Collide. It's going to be awesome. And definitely stay tuned for Thursday's show. It'll be over on the COC channel, Constructive Outrage, on YouTube. Forsaken says goodbye. Again, it's great to have Mr. X on. Surprise appearances are always welcome. Yeah, it makes the show so much fun. Absolutely. Late, definitely catching the replay again. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I'm not sure if there's other questions that I might have missed while we were talking with Mr. X. Jimmy G in the house. Hello, Jimmy. Go back to some of these questions. Do you think our trip to Paris will be the nerdiest White Lotus season, and who will get killed? Well, I hope nobody gets killed, but definitely be the nerdiest. That's for sure, Brad. I can't wait. What's up, BSC? Bats in the Belfry, Brotherhood member. Thank you very much. And I want to just take a second to thank all of our members. Again, you can tell that they're members right there. They're always here supporting the channel. So I can't thank you guys enough. And if any of you want to support the channel in that way, please consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. Can't thank you guys enough. NT, doing great, feeling good. I just got back from a week in Texas. Can't believe the week's already over. Man, we had, just a blast down there. I'm really happy because it's a golf cart community. So you get to drive golf carts in town. Like we were, pulling up through the Whataburger and going to dinner and watching dolphins all in the golf cart. So I just absolutely love that kind of trip. And it was very relaxing, which is really, really great. Hi, I only found this channel recently and I'm looking into getting a Prime One statue. So I blame you, Mr. Brainley. I sorry, not sorry. If there's one thing that we do on this channel, we enable, right? And that's what I do. So I'm not sorry at all. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You have a link for the auction. So it's going to be Wednesday night. It'll be right here on the channel, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you go to this channel's live tab, it'll show when it's going to be. You can go ahead and bookmark it with the bell, and that way you'll be notified when it is on. So it's right here on this channel. Click the live link, and you'll be able to see it. It'll say live auction, and it'll be this Wednesday. Okay? Really wish statue companies would post their annual sales so we can see which IP sell. I think you can tell that a lot of times through the edition sizes. If an edition size is really high and they're selling well, or if something's sold out, you know which IP is doing well. Any tips for getting your first commission as someone who's starting to collect artwork? Basically set your budget. If you are wanting to spend an exorbitant amount of money, you're going to want to do the established artists. Again, like Jim Lee, David Finch, Lee Bermejo. Those are going to be the more expensive commissions. But there are commissions out there, and there's a lot of new artists that are just starting out, or they're not as established. So if you find an artist that you resonate with, if you like see the artwork and like go on Instagram and like, let's say you like, I collect Batman. So I type in Batman art and then or Batman art commission, and it'll list all of the photos. And I see like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this, but I love this. And so you click that and you're like, okay, I like this artist. So you can reach out to him on Instagram or reach out to him on Facebook. A lot of them have representations. Like David Finch, for me, his representation is essentialsequential.com. Jason Schlachter. So he's phenomenal. I'm going to be communicating with him for C2E2. And so you just find the artist you want, try to reach out to them directly. And if you're not getting anywhere, look and see if they're represented by anyone. You have, like Scott's overseas. Scott's represents a lot of artists. So there's a lot of different companies that will represent who you might be looking for. Yes, I already talked about that. Reby, I'm not sure how to say that. Shelves may be Amazon only, just FYI. Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you. Chris, fun fact, Queen are from the same area as me and recorded one of their earlier albums in a nearby London studio. That's awesome. Again, I'm a massive Queen fan. Just love them. And so I would love to be, around that area to see some of that stuff. Chris, did you get that Finch piece today? No. Are you talking about the Bane ones, Jimmy? If you're talking about that, that is just, I don't think that's for sale. I just was reaching out to them. Maybe it'll be for sale sometime. I don't know, but it's always okay to ask. But no, I haven't got anything new. We as collectors are such a small part of the general population that anything done to exclude any number of us like crazy prices is regrettable. It just is what it is. And like Mr. X was saying, I feel like, companies have in some degree shot themselves in the foot by what they've done. Whether it's been bad customer service or just, padding shipping or whatever, like poor taste that leaves in our mouths. And it does suck. And I think that some of the companies might have gone back or wish they could have gone back and be like, well, maybe we shouldn't have raised prices to this level. Because I think at some point, even the hardcore collectors will quit collecting. And then they have no customer, and then it might be too late. And that's the sad part of it. Jim Lee, might as well buy a Cybertruck with that kind of money. I have a beautiful Jim Lee piece over here. I've actually got a Joker and a Batman. And it was the most expensive piece that I've paid for. But I have an original Jim Lee in my collection, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, you could spend $30,000-$40,000 easy on a Jim Lee. Hey, do you know when the Batman and Mr. Freeze, the bust from Tweeterhead, will be released? Batman, I believe they said maybe June or July, and then Mr. Freeze right after it, I believe, if I remember what Chad has said. Of course, that's estimates. We'll see, but that's what they're hoping for. Obviously, there are sometimes factory issues or shipping issues that could delay things, but that's what they're hoping is. So I would assume middle of the summer for sure. What did I think of Cena's heel turn? Great wrestling question from Josh. I thought it was really well done. I liked his promo on Raw. I did catch that kind of after the fact since I was down in Texas, at the beach. But I liked what he had to say. I would have liked a little bit more about why align with The Rock, that sort of thing. But I think I would have preferred a Cody heel turn. The rumor is that he refused it, so then they did Cena instead. But I'm okay with it. I would have liked Rock to wrestle. But I think that this definitely gives something new for Cena. I really thought that he had, I think it was one of his better promos he's done. So I'm okay with it. What do you think? SmackDown or Raw, Chris. I watch both shows. I enjoy them both. I probably typically watch Raw a little bit more consistently than I do SmackDown. SmackDown sometimes I'll watch later after the fact. But I love both. I heard collector's insurance is basically a scam. It will never pay out claims. And that's the thing. Like, I'm actually going through the process right now. Like, I had to go through the process of itemize every single thing in this collection, which is scary when you actually see the total. You know, it is mind blowing. And so, you know, like, we had a really bad, we had State Farm, and we lost our roof in a windstorm, and they said that it was improper install from 25 years ago. So they didn't give us any money. And so, like, there are companies out there, I feel like they are scams. So, like, we would never go through State Farm again, ever. But collectible insurance, I just don't have enough experience. And I don't think a lot of collectors have, like, not very many people have rooms like this. Not very many people have collecting rooms like you have at your home. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's a scam or not. I just don't. But there's a lot of money, and to think that, you know, you would lose all of this, God forbid, it's pretty scary. And to think you wouldn't recoup some of it. So I don't know. I would love to know more. If anybody has had any of that experience, it would be really great to do a whole show on that, because, you know, if I could find some people that have had experience with collectible insurance, and, you know, good or bad experiences, I would love to hear a little bit more about that, because, again, I just don't know. I really don't. So it would be good to know. So anyway, with that said, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. It went a little over an hour today. And again, I want to thank Mr. X. That was so awesome. And if you ever want to be on the show, if you guys ever, you know, hit me up, you guys can pop on just the same. You know, if you just don't want to just hear me ramble on forever. So anyway, thank you very much for being here. I can't thank you guys enough. If you guys would hit the like button, that does help me out tremendously. And let's keep this hobby going, guys. It's up to you guys. You guys watching right now, you guys are the lifeblood of this hobby. Continue to watch channels like this. Continue to be part of social media and all that stuff. Again, join us on Wednesday for Rogues. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, there we go, the Crippler COC. I think Darth Rashid's going to be on the show, and some others. So we're looking forward to that. So anyway, that's on Thursday on his channel. So anyway, have a great one, guys. Be well, stay safe, and we'll see you on Wednesday for Rogues. Have a good one, guys. Good night.